everyone. Welcome to Business Coaching with Spoonkosi. We're back at it this week. We're going to be talking about strategic partnership. So, Coach will be guiding us. Will be giving us tips, advice, and a challenge. So, we have a challenge for you guys on a weekly. Yeah. So, Coach, how have you been?
I'm surviving, I'm living, doing my best work. You know me, working with
Yeah, yeah.
entrepreneurs is what I do. So, yeah, man, I'm fulfilled, I'm happy, I'm positive, I'm hopeful. And yeah, to everybody who's watching, if you're a small business, listen, man, we gotta fight. Hey, we gotta fight to survive, we gotta fight to grow our businesses, you gotta stick it through. There is no reason to give up. So, I'm good, Molesh. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm surviving. And I was talking to Jim today. I was like, we are due for a meeting because I want us to have a meeting with you so we can actually finalize. I want at least by the end of September. Ke itse gore the whatever we've discussed about my business is up and running now. It's everywhere, and I'm in the using the right tools. So yeah, it's a bit slow, but I'm getting there. I'm not giving up. We're gonna win. We're gonna win. Welcome to the viewers as well. So, if you just joined in, we're going to be talking about forming or building strategic partnerships. So, Coach, let's get it. So, let's define what is strategic partnerships.
So, first of all, this is a very difficult topic, right? I remember back in 2020 when I was going through my course at Gibbs to become a certified educator in entrepreneurship. We spoke a lot about leveraging your networks, right? And the word leveraging, I remember it was a big point of, we really contested it because it just sounds horrible when I say to you, you must build networks and then you must leverage them. You know, it sounds like, okay, now you've got somebody and then you must actually use them, you know. So if you put
Yeah.
it in the simplest form, um, it is really getting into the kinds of relationships, business relationships, where you can get something from each other. Okay. But there are rules to actually do this, right? Because when I put it purely as in me and Molesh have now created this business relationship, and I have to leverage something off you, you have to leverage something off me. It can go south very quickly, and that definition sounds very cold. But there are rules of engagement when it comes to it. It is a win-win situation at the end of the day. It is a mutual benefit at the end of the day, and simply that's what it means. It means we get together, understanding that at the end of the day we are both all about business. There's something that I can benefit from you, and there's something that you can benefit from me. So that's it in a nutshell. As scary and as bad as it sounds, that's what we're speaking about when we're saying strategic partnerships.
Yeah. So we're gonna cover a lot of stuff that we need to learn about forming these strategic partnerships. So according to you, Coach, why is it important for us to form these strategic partnerships?
Good question. So, Molesh, we're all in business, we're all looking for clients, right?
Mhm.
And back in the day when we were looking for clients, we used to do cold calling, right? So you're calling people and then you're hoping they're going to sign up for your coaching program, your consulting program, or whatever the case is. What strategic partnerships do is they give you access to clients in bulk. All right. So let's say you are in a strategic partnership with me, and then you know that I work for a large organization, and this large organization has plenty of, maybe it's an association. I've got plenty of members within my organization that I think can benefit from your business, whatever consulting you are offering. So I've got, maybe in this association, we've got 2,500 small businesses. So for you and I to have a relationship, that means I'm getting you to a point where, or your relationship with me is getting you to a point where you have access to potentially 2,500 small businesses which fit the category of what your business does. So this is what our relationship is all about. You are looking for access to those SMMEs, but me, on the other hand, as well, I'm looking as maybe an executive in that association. I'm looking to show the rest of the board that I am connected. I know a Molesh, I know a Sbu, I know people that I can bring through in order, to add more value to our members, because our members as small businesses, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for people to share knowledge with them, and then they're looking for that sort of value that needs to be added there. So that's what I mean when I'm saying strategic partnerships and how they work and how important they are. They really give you access to clients in bulk, so it makes your marketing easy. You work smarter, you don't work harder.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And then I don't know if I should ask first, Jorge, what are the pros and cons, or what are the rules of engagement? Which one goes first? Because I want it to flow nicely.
Let's start with the pros and cons. Let's start with the pros and cons, and then I'll keep the note about the rules of engagement. And please remind me if I forget about the rules of engagement. But the pros, like I said, pros is you get to access clients in bulk, right? So that is a big pro for getting into strategic partnerships. But also, because strategic partnerships normally are a relationship between somebody who's high up in an organization that you're connecting with, it's a decision maker in most cases, or somebody at least who is at the higher level of management, and they are closer to decision makers. Now you already know people that will mention you when they're in big rooms, so not only in their organization, but in other circles that they move around, they can mention you. So that's the nice thing about it. It really makes your marketing seamless. It takes word of mouth to the next level because everything just happens in bulk. And bulk means millions, right? So that means you're getting paid with
Yeah.
money at the end of the day. So those will be the pros of it. The cons of it is it starts getting very blurry, where you really now start feeling like you're using somebody or somebody is using you. So this filters into the rules of engagement. So if you don't know the rules of engagement, it can go south really quickly, because if everybody is moving around the circles and they're calling Molesh a user, like every time Molesh comes to me, she's looking for something. Every time Molesh comes to me, she's looking to access stuff. I've been giving Molesh a couple of clients, and then, she keeps asking for more. That could actually ruin your reputation. Also, on the side of service delivery, now all of a sudden you're a small business, and then you move to getting access to 2,500 clients, and you don't have the correct systems in place. Sometimes you may not be ready to get into the strategic partnership because you're going to go and mess up this whole thing. So there's a lot of preparation that's required. You need to make sure your business has proper systems before you get into such a big relationship. Another con is that it takes a while to build those relationships, right? So a strategic partnership is not something that you wake up, you get into. I mean, some of the strategic partnerships that I'm in, it was a conversation of a year before we even signed the service level agreement. But when it does happen, you sign that service level agreement, you really get exposed to clients in bulk, and then the money is good. So that's another con. It's very slow. It takes a little bit of time. So flowing into the rules of engagement, Molesh, you just need to be a nice person and you need to be genuine, right? You and I are in a strategic partnership. It's a very good strategic partnership, because you get to bring me, and then I can help you to educate, your followers, because you are the one who holds the platform. And at the end of the day, you are also giving me an opportunity of saying, you can really give yourself exposure, and meet a whole lot of people, some of which are potential clients. So you and I are on a two-way street. So those are the rules of engagement. I need to contribute something to you. You need to contribute something to me. At the end of the day, if you are the one who's constantly calling me and telling me to come through, but every time I call you because, maybe I need a small favor or whatever the case is when it comes to business, you never respond or you never reciprocate, sort of like the feeling. That is a problem. So it's truly about building genuine relationships. So as much as at some point we're going to leverage each other, we really need to find ourselves in a position where we are truly building a genuine bond. It's a genuine relationship. I truly care about you. You care about me. So those are the rules of engagement. Just be nice, just be nice and contribute on this relationship, and also be patient. You don't want to come off too hard, because if I come off too hard, now the level at which I'm leveraging you, it becomes disrespectful. I treat you like you're actually my employee. I've been in strategic partnerships where people have treated me like I work for them. Like, hey, dude, last time we had this meeting, you haven't checked in, what's going on? And I was like, I'm not going to be spoken to like this. It's a two-way street. Also, the rules of engagement, building onto this thing of saying, you're not an employee. I can only contribute when I can contribute, and you can only contribute when you can contribute, right? So I don't owe you anything. I don't have a contract with you. We are building a relationship. So if you are saying to me, so next week, unfortunately, I'm switching the guest. It's not going to be you. It's going to be something else. I can't go around sulking and saying now all of a sudden you are a bad person. You don't owe me this. So
Mm.
it's very important also that it's as and when you feel like there's space for me, and it's as and when I feel like there's space for you, and we both need to understand that.
Awesome, awesome. And then what questions do you ask yourself before you form these strategic relationships? What kind of guidelines can you give one when they kind of like want to get into a strategic relationship?
So the biggest one is the benefit for both of us, right? Um, you must listen to some of the entrepreneurs, and I actually said to entrepreneurs, people need to stop this thing of, hi Molesh, I want to bounce off something by you. Hi Molesh, I want to see if we can explore some synergies. But when you meet with the guys, it's actually a one-way street. They are there to leverage you and leverage your networks, but they are not meeting you halfway. So the big question is there something for both of us? If there's nothing for both of us, and then it's only something for just me, then I would rather go the procurement route, where I pitch to procurement managers and see how I can get into that business and provide services. Sometimes it can be a once-off, which is not sustainable. But I mean, like, if it's good money, it's good money. But strategic partnerships are actually long-term. So that is the first thing you're going to have to ask. Number two, is it fitting smoothly into my life? Is this going to fit smoothly into my life, this strategic partnership that I'm thinking of? If you guys are going to get into a toxic relationship, like I said, where, you're demanding from each other and all of that kind of stuff, the money might be flowing in due to that strategic partnership, but it might be so stressful for you, and the opportunity cost is just too high. Things are just not balancing. You're in a place of stress, you're in a place of anxiety. This person is disrespecting you, and now you're just staying with them because of this contract that came out of the strategic partnership. That is not a good relationship to be in. And then thirdly, will I get into a strategic partnership that has a potential to grow? Okay. Sometimes when a strategic partnership does not have the potential to grow, that means it might get cut short very quickly. And normally when that happens, relationship goes south and then they become sour. So you're trying to build, it's like a marriage. You're trying to build something that is long term. So for me, those are the three biggest questions that you would need to ask.
Thank you. And then there's a question for us here, Coach. Can you see it?
Yes. So can we put a contract in place to protect both parties in a strategic partnership? Yes, definitely. It's actually a must, right? So there's this phrase that I live by. I heard it from somebody else, that good contracts make good friends. So as soon as we get into this friendship and this strategic partnership, we have to put something in place. Like I said, with some of my strategic partnerships, I do have a service level agreement in place, so I know what the expectations are. So as much as the person that I formed the strategic partnership with, because they work for a big organization, at the end of the day, they need to be held accountable for bringing me in, if I can put it like that, on merit, by the way, and networking. So I'm not saying they just bringing me in just because they like me. The essence of a strategic partnership is that it gave me enough time to build a relationship, to show value, and that person appreciated my value, and then they brought me in. So those contracts, they really do protect everyone. You can have an MOU. There's different kinds of contracts. You can have a memorandum of understanding, which is an MOU. You can have an MOA, which is a memorandum of association. You can have a service level agreement, or you can have a gentleman's handshake. So just like me and Molesh now, we have a gentle people shake. Let me not be too gender specific. We have a gentle handshake, where we understand, where we are. And I think it's because our strategic partnership does not involve money, so it makes it easy. But where it does involve money, guys, 100%, make sure you have a contract in place. Good contracts, they make good friends.
And then there's another question again.
Okay, let's read that question. Would it be ethical to enter into a strategic partnership with a competitor, even if it means it would benefit you more? If it benefits you more, guys, then I would be very concerned, because the scale is not proper, and also the intention might not be proper. So it's one of those things where it's sort of like a hostile takeover. We listen, it happens in business. I won't lie. Business is very ruthless. You need to get into, some of those things. If you are that kind of person and you can handle it and then you can sleep at night, you can get into that kind of strategic partnership. Just make sure that by you benefiting, you're not killing somebody else in the process, because we can compete without killing each other. I make examples about the sport of boxing. Boxing is very ruthless. It's competitor. It's one-on-one, toe-to-toe. But we're not gonna kill each other there. We're not gladiators. Like back in the day, we have to stab each other. So as long as you keep the fight clean, and then as you are benefiting more, you don't disadvantage the other person too much, because they've also got a family to feed. At the end of the day, you need to meet people at human being level. But me personally, I would not get into that kind of strategic partnership. I want to get into something that's going to be beneficial for both of us. I believe in karma. You do good, you get good back.
Yes, most definitely. Because when karma hits, it's 10 times worse.
It's bad. I'm scared of that. I wouldn't put myself in that position. So, by the way, before you go on, Rakwadi says, Ish, this talk about strategic partnerships reminds me of Umjolo. I will tell you the funny thing. Whenever I speak about strategic partnership, the guys will tell you in every live that I do about this. It is that you are courting somebody. It takes a little bit of time. You have to charm them. You have to bring them in. With some of my strategic partners, even whenever it's time to, their birthdays are coming up, I actually do send them gifts. So it is that you are building exactly like Umjolo, and then you want to move your Umjolo into a strategic partnership, which is where it's like a marriage certificate when you sign that contract. So it's exactly like that. So it's funny that you're saying this, because I always make this example.
So, is there like a specific place where one can find these partners that can actually you can use them work together and form these partnership? Is there a time frame? When should you actually do this? Does it depend even on like whether you're small or big business? How does it also work?
So it's for everyone, Molesh. I will tell you, on TikTok, I speak about LinkedIn a lot. Guys, follow me, Life Coach Sue on TikTok. I speak about LinkedIn a lot. And that's where I get my strategic partnership. Every strategic partnership I have, I got it through LinkedIn, right? Because LinkedIn allows me to, because your strategy happens before you get onto LinkedIn, right? I'm a coach. So how do I get my clients in bulk? Who would give me my clients in bulk, and what would I need to give them back? So that is already sitting on my whiteboard before I even go onto LinkedIn, right? So all of those three questions: will I be able to handle the capacity if it comes through? And then also, is this something that can be long term? Are we both benefiting? The three questions. So I've answered them. I've put them in a form of a proposal or a business model or something that I can send through when that time comes. So then I go on LinkedIn, because now I can identify what organization can give me access to clients in bulk. And now it's time for me to start connecting with the right person from that organization, because sometimes these big companies, they have 50 people working for them. So I identify the right one. And then once we get into that, I start commenting on their posts. I start, sharing stuff with them. I start writing content that they would be interested in, so that the relationship starts growing. And it goes back to our conversation last week. They must just check your last conversation with me last week on your YouTube channel, where we were speaking about LinkedIn for small businesses. Then it gets to a point where we start engaging, we start sharing a whole lot of stuff. They see a lot of value that I bring. And then now they're comfortable with me. They want my phone numbers. They want my email address. And then now they're like, dude, is there something that you can propose? I propose something. We have conversations for 6 to 12 months, sometimes 18 months even. And then eventually they're like, we've got this program that we're building. We want you to come through and provide your coaching services or whatever the case is. And then now you get into an SLA or whatever contract is there. Then you start moving. It does not matter when you do these strategic partnerships, right? So long as you believe in your business, you believe in your sector, you believe in your knowledge, you believe in what you know. And this is a nice thing about these strategic partnerships, because they give you an opportunity where procurement is going to say you are too small, you are too unknown. Trade for 3 years before we speak. With strategic partnerships, people are like, you've been around for 6 months, but man, I really like what you're saying. So we're happy to take a chance on you, come on board. So it doesn't matter at what stage of your business you're in. You can answer the 3 questions, you feel confident, you understand the sector, you feel like you can deliver the product, you can show people that you are a talent, you're more than just a business, you are a talent, you can get into any strategic partnership.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And then how do we maintain these strategic partnerships, coach?
Big question, big question. So I recently actually created a system that allows you to manage your strategic partnerships. Once you get into a strategic partnership, it's now a project, right? Project is project management. You need to manage this project, right? So you need to make sure that you know at any given time, you need to understand where you are with this person. What, you need to feel the temperature. We're still good. Are things still happening? But these are the key points. Number one, your strategic partner will expect you to check in, right? So check in all the time. That's how you maintain these relationships. Just like Jolo, as Rakwadi said, call every now and then, check in every now and then. If there's an event that's sort of like of mutual benefit, invite the person to come through as well. If you can get them a ticket, so that you constantly dating, if I can put it like that, constantly going out, constantly hanging out. Don't just call whenever you need something. Number two, your SLA will give you guys, or your contract, whatever, MOA, MOU, it will give you guys an opportunity, an outline of your duties and responsibilities. So fulfill your contract as well. As much as me and Mo are good, I know now, if I can't make it to something, Mo is going to be okay with it. I must not take advantage of it. We've signed a contract that says, Sbu, deliver this and deliver it this way. Mo, deliver this and deliver it this way. So as long as we are both servicing our contract, then we can do other things that are social as well. So that is extremely, extremely critical. And then I think the last thing would be accountability. Let's be accountable to each other. So if somebody is really not delivering, we must be open to having those conversations. Sometimes it's tough conversations. We need to have them. But at least at the end of the day, it's just like in a relationship or a marriage. You need to have those tough conversations. But at the end of the day, we keep coming together. So those would be the big 3 things for me in order to maintain your strategic partnerships.
All right. So okay, so coach, now we, like, for example, we signed the contract, Bona, we did the shebang, now we in this partnership, né? So what happens if you and your partner reach an irreconcilable difference on the fundamentally important issues? How do you handle it?
So number one, that would be a big shame. For people that go through that would be a very big shame, because somebody would have caused a breakdown in the trust and whatever the case is, right? But number one, there would be, Andiswa, welcome, Andiswa Nkosi, we are not related, I'm Spuso Nkosi. Trust me, we are not related. I didn't bribe my cousin to come and join here, okay? But Andiswa, you've got a very beautiful surname. Nkosi is a beautiful surname. So that would be the saddest thing, right? So obviously the MOA and the SLA, Molesh, they do speak about how to resolve these things, right? So you can either give 30 days for termination, either party can give 30 days for termination. It speaks about mediation as well. You guys can go seek mediation as per your contract. You guys can try other different things as well, meeting, and then maybe getting a coach like me in between to see if you can resolve those issues. So the first one for me in resolving it will be, let's start at human level and sit down and see if we can talk. If we can't reach that resolution, we need to go back to our MOA or SLA. It has rules in terms of the 30 days notices and mediation and courts and all of that kind of thing. I just hope it doesn't get to that point. But yeah, those are the things. There's no nicer way of doing it. For me, the nicest way would be, Mo, let's sit down, let's talk. And then we can resolve it on our own without involving the clauses of the contract. When it gets to the clauses of the contract, unfortunately, it's not personal, it's business, but I don't wish it on anyone.
And then what happens if one of our partners becomes financially insolvent and they declare the bankruptcy? Like what's going to happen now?
Yeah. So some of the SLAs are actually quite clear, that if one of the partners becomes insolvent, it would lead to the termination of the strategic partnership that you have. So you go through then, the court system to see if you can salvage or recover whatever you can recover. And that's why when you get into strategic partnerships, it's very important beforehand to ask the right questions and understand your partner, right? So for example, Mo, you can't jowl with someone for so many years and get married, and only 3 years into the marriage you find out that the FBI is actually looking for them, or they've been working with the Guptas or whatever the case is. Then you're not asking the right questions. There's something about the relationship that's a little bit off. So it's very important to ask those questions to understand where they are in terms of business. And when you do your check-ins, you do your hanging out, you do your dating, and guys, by dating I mean business dating, not dating. So as you're doing all of those things, have those conversations, be open, build a trusting relationship, build a genuine bond so that somebody can explain to you what's going on, and then you guys can be able to sort of like work through it together. But it does happen, it does happen that they become insolvent or they go through some legal stuff. And then the SLA will be very clear in terms of what the next steps should be as far as termination and the courts. Now you get into other sorts of legislation, right? Because if it's a tax law issue, and then that legislation will take place. If it's a civil case, that will take place, and whatever. So you guys would need to go the legal route after that.
All right. So I think from my side, for me, obviously, some of these questions are just for my own personal growth. I don't know if
Good.
you want if you want to add something that maybe you feel is important that people should know about strategic partnerships.
Yes. So, guys, strategic partnerships at the end of the day, they are a business deal. I'm building on from the question that you've asked. It is a business deal at the end of the day. So, a strategic partnership. So, the difference between a strategic partnership and a normal business deal is normally how the deal happened. So, the how is a big difference. So, give an example. Let's say, Molesh, I network myself into a contract with a bank for me to give some coaching to their tellers because maybe they are going through stress and anxiety and all that kind of stuff, right? But both you and I are coaches.
Mm-hmm.
You also get the same contract, but your contract, you don't get it through networking. So me, let's say I networked with a branch manager, and then, we had this long relationship, and they were like, listen here, there's something coming up, so I'm going to put you up. And then they speak to procurement, I present to executives and all of that. And then because this person is vouching for me, I get a deal, right? 100%. Let's say you come in differently. So you see maybe you send a proposal because but you don't know anybody in the bank. You send a proposal and they look at your proposal and they're like, okay, Mo sounds like a good coach. And then you come through a round of interviews and pitching and whatever, and they accept you. At the end of the day, both of us are going to have a similar business deal. So our SLA is going to be the same. Our rules and responsibilities are going to be the same. The difference is how. So you shot in the dark and you came in with a 20% chance, but fortunately, your presentation was so good that you came in. I went in already with an 80% chance of survival because I've been networking. People are familiar with me. I've been doing some free events because that's another thing that happens with strategic partnerships, right? So how some people would know me is because they had a day for tellers maybe, and then they said, you know what, we're doing a day for tellers, want to motivate them. And I said, I'll speak for free, so I went there, I spoke. So my chance of survival and getting this thing was 80%, but our contract at the end of the day is going to look the same. We've got duties and responsibilities. We're going to be treated fairly. We're going to be treated on merit. So people need to understand it is a business deal. At the end of the day, you need to treat it like a business.
So, Andiso says, how can she get a hold of you?
Okay, so if you want to get hold of me, you can email me info@growthpeak.co.za. I'm not sure if we can comment, but info@growthpeak.co.za is how you can get hold of me. People that get hold of me much more quicker are on TikTok and Instagram at Life Coach Sbu on both Instagram and TikTok as well. That's the easiest way. You inbox me, and then yeah, I will definitely respond to you.
Right. I think we've summed it up for today's session. Thank you so much, Coach. This was awesome. I learned a lot as always. And thank you to people who came through to view the session. And I believe that you took something and you learned. So catch us next week again. I will put I will post a poster of what our next session is going to be about. Same time, 11 a.m. YouTube channel Mo Salute, Facebook page Mo Salute. Thank you, Coach. We
Thank you
out.
so much. Appreciate it. Cheers, guys.
Right.